Hey guys, what's up? My name's Ines. I write kissing books, and today I'm going to show you how I make a plot booklet. This isn't my original idea. I got it from one of my favorite authors on YouTube. Her name is Sarra, and she has the Heart Breathings channel, and I'll link that below. And she made this, and I was like, oh, that's a brilliant idea, because I love office supplies, if you haven't noticed. And I just took her idea and I kind of made it my own. So to start with, you're going to need 7 of these large note cards, which I'll also link in the description. You'll need something to write with. I like to use Crayola Super Tips. You don't need washi tape, but I like this decorative washi tape, so I use it. You can use a different type of tape, or you can even use clear tape if you wanted to. But you'll see why I use 3 different colors of the regular size and then 2 of the thin size. You're going to see how I do that and why I do it in a bit. I use my Super Tips. I also use my Ink Joys because when I'm writing, and I write dual perspective, hero and heroine, I like to differentiate the colors. And so for this novel that I'm writing, The Dragon's Rebellious Sacrifice, my hero is always going to be written, when I write by hand, in green, and my heroine is going to be always in this pink, because there are times when I'm writing by hand and I screw up the perspectives. I'll be writing in the girl's perspective, but it'll be the guy's voice coming through, and it's just a mess. So what helps my brain is when I use different colors. And I also use these 2 different sizes of Post-it notes, which I'll also link in the description, and of course a nice pair of scissors. Okay, so with my 7 note cards, I'm going to take the first 2. And the way that I like to do this, again, I'm color coding because I write dual perspective. I'm writing hero and I'm writing heroine. So with my hero being green and my heroine being pink, this blue is going to be the cover for my plot booklet. So I'm going to take this guy and aim to get him on half of this note card. Yeah, that's about good. And I'll trim it when I'm done. Oops. So this is going to be my cover, where I'm going to put the title. And just press that. So this is going to look like that once I make it all nice and pretty. But I'm not making it nice and pretty now. So I'm just going to fold that over backwards. And because it's going to annoy me, I'm going to go ahead and trim right now. I'm not going to trim perfectly, but I'm going to trim a bit. There we go. All right, so that's going to be my cover. So now I like to do the heroine first. And remember, I said that my heroine was pink, so I got these 2 to kind of match. So this is going to be my heroine's first card. I use my scissors to snip the end of that again. Turn it over and put another note card there. So again, this is my cover. If I were to close it up, and then if this is the front, you open it up, and here's the heroine, and she's going to get another page. When Sarra did this, I think she just did 5 pages. I do 7 because put some other things in there. Snip it with the scissors again, flip it over. Press that on down. Again, here's my cover. First heroine page. Second heroine page. I need one more. The reason I like to make these little plot booklets because I don't like to sit in the house all day. And sometimes I just don't want to take my computer with me. So I will take notebooks. I've been walking a lot lately, and I don't want to take a big notebook, so this is like the perfect size. Again, cover, first set of heroine pages, second set of heroine pages, last set of heroine pages. And so now I'm switching to the hero, who's going to be green. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this dark green. I've got a lighter, but I don't like to write with this. We'll see. I might change my mind. We'll see. So when I'm out walking, this will fit like in my pocket, or I could just carry it in my hand without too much fuss. So Like I'm about to go to the bookstore, and I just want to be in a bookstore. There's not even any books that I want. I just want to be in a bookstore. And there's a secondhand bookstore that's open right now in my neighborhood, and I'm just gonna go and just sit in there, because we are in phase 1 of reopening here in Northern Virginia. And I think if there's not a lot of people out at noon on a Tuesday, I can go and sit in the bookstore, which is what my plan is, just to sit there and be around books for like an hour. So again, cover, Heroines Pages, Heroines Pages, Heroines Pages, and now we get to the Heroes page. Okay. Getting close to being finished with the taping part. Snippety snip. Get you nice and in there. And again, I use more pages than Sarah used, so hers is really neat and doesn't need any reinforcing. I very often have to reinforce mine. So this is the last page, right? And I just take the last page just to make it nice and cohesive. And also to reinforce it, I put that down there as well. And ooh, no, we want you to be cute. Oh, that might not be as cute as I want it to be. That's okay. Okay, this is hefty. Because I like having a lot of pages. All right, and then I'm just gonna snip these off. Flip it over and snip these off. Okay, so here we go. Here's my cover. Heroine, 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 hero, hero, hero. That's actually holding up really well, but I am probably going to go in and reinforce it. Okay, so the name of this book is The Dragon's Rebellious Sacrifice, and I want to write that in red. So I'm going to grab a red super tip. The Dragons Rebellious, right? Yes, rebellious. Rebellious Sacrifice. And this is book 4 in the Last Dragons series. Book 4 plot booklet. Okay, so that's my cover. And then once I come inside, I have a couple of more things that, well, a lot more things that I like to do. So this is when the thin washi comes in. So I just like to decorate a little bit, just to make it pretty. Because when things are pretty, you sometimes do more with it. So this is my Heroines Pages, and I haven't named her yet. So when I do, I'll put her name there. And then this is going to be the page for my brain dump. Everything that I need to know about the heroine. And these are going to be, on this side of the page, is going to be some more specific things that I need to know about the heroine. This is where I want to know her knot or her wound. I think every character has some type of a flaw, something that's not perfect with them in the beginning. In film class, we call that a hole, H-O-L-E, and you had to make the person whole, H-O-L-E, W-H-O-L-E. Just spelled the same thing twice. Also from film, they have a need or a want. This is usually when the twist happens in a film. Everybody usually starts out with a want. Like if it's one of those teeny bopper movies, the young girl, she thinks she wants the hot guy, so she goes about her plan is to change her looks so that she can get him, but then in the end she finds out that what she needs is to love herself. One of those kind of twists. So they always have some type of a need, that a want that later they'll flip and they realize it's the need, and that's kind of the plot twist there. that want, if they have one, because sometimes they don't have a want, they always just have a need, but that want or need should handicap them in some way. It should blind them to the truth. And it can do that in different types of ways. And you don't hold on to a handicap for no reason. There's always a benefit that you have to that handicap. But you should want to give your character a happy alternative to having that handicap. There should be a reason why they would consider bettering themselves or improving themselves. So there's a happy alternative, and then there's a benefit to the happy alternative, but it comes at a cost. I learned this from this book, Plot versus Character. This is a fantastic book by Jeff Gerke. I'll link it in the comments. But he even has a little bit here. He says your main character is this handicaps him or her in this way. The main character has chosen or allowed this state of affairs because it gives him or her this benefit. The happy alternative, the new way I'm going to set before my main character is the perfect full or counterbalance to the old way because, and then the new way will provide these benefits to my main character, but the main character will not initially consider this new way to be a real option for him or her because, and after a while, though my main character begins to see that she would probably enjoy the following benefits, he or she went with the new way. The cost of going this new way will also become clear to my main character over time. He or she will come to see that if he or she does this, he or she will have to pay this particular price. And it's a price that they're not entirely sure that they're willing to pay. This is a fantastic book because in my head, I'm a plotter. I plot. Sometimes I don't even need to actually write down the plots of stories. I just start to write and I know that I'm following a plot because there's so many plot points in my head. But I sometimes can't qualify why things are happening. And that book, Plot versus Character, really helped me to understand how I use my plot to really understand my characters. So the next thing that I do, and a lot of the stuff I start to repeat because sometimes when someone asks you ever take one of those like psychology quizzes that'll ask you like those personality quizzes? Oh, darn it all. One of those personality quizzes that kind of asks you questions to try and figure out like what's your best learning style or what's your best career going to be, and they'll ask you the same question in different ways. This what some of these pages do for me as well. I'll ask myself the same thing in a different way because I might not get the answer the first time, and then or in the second time I might decide I've already figured this out. I don't need to say it again. But this is where I put what trope I'm working with. I highly believe in tropes. This particular book is going to be a bit of enemies to lover and also fish out of water. I'm not going to put that there because I might change my mind. I'm still figuring this whole book out. And when you have a trope, there's usually an expectation to the trope. And I like to put that there. And unexpected. I like to put what people expect from the trope because when you're dealing with tropes, you want to try and turn them on their head because, they say everybody has, there's no new stories and everybody's constantly writing the same stories over and over again. True. But when you can figure out a way to kind of turn a trope on its head and do the unexpected, that gives readers a more enjoyable experience. So I always try to put those conventions or try to understand what those conventions are and figure out if I can turn them around. So then I really focus on my character arc, which I already know because I did that thesis, antithesis, synthesis statement. So I have an idea of what the initial condition is going to be. And then I do a plot point called the mirror moment. There is a whole book called Write Your Novel from the Middle. I'll link it in the show notes because I only have the ebook. It was written by Scott Bell. What's his first name? Something Scott Bell. James. His name is James Scott Bell. That's it. James Scott Bell wrote this book called Write Your Novel from the Middle, and it completely revolutionized the way that I write. Because at some point, your character is going to either look at himself in the mirror, or someone is going to call them out about what they truly, how they truly want to live their lives. And there's a moment where they're like, this is what I really want my life to be. And it's happened somewhere in the middle of the book. And Scott Bell calls it the mirror moment. And if you know the mirror moment, you can backtrack to make them the opposite of the mirror moment, and then flash forward in your plotting to figure out how to get them there. What will their life look like? So I like to do that as well. That is one plot point that I always have. I'm just dropping all of my materials. That's okay. So this is my character arc page. And then a friend of mine told me about the story question. So I have no idea where this comes from. I think it's another film term because she was a film major. So each story, there's a question that you're striving to ask. So in this, if it's my hero, the dragon, will he rescue the hero or heroine, or will she fall in love with him? That might be a particular story question. But when you get that, it helps you to just really hone in on what's happening in this story. And I'm sorry your cat fell. I'll find it for you in a minute. So I figure out what the story question is, because by the end of the book, there should be a yes or no, whatever the story question was. And then I do a scene list, and this scene list changes depending upon the book, the series, the whatever. But because it changes, I put it on these sticky notes so that I don't feel like I'm committed to writing it directly on the page. The first thing that I put here is establish empathy. I feel like that's the most important thing that you need to do from page 1. Not set it, not tell me about your character, is you want to make the reader identify, empathize, sympathize with your main character, or characters plural. Because the longer that, as soon as they feel some type of connection, the longer you're going to be able to hold their attention. So that's always priority number 1 for me. And these others, these are just the ones that I always feel like I have in any of my books. I can always add or subtract with these little sticky notes. And because this is a romance, there's always an adhesion point, a point where they have to stay together. Because this is a romance, there's always fun and games. Fun and games is, if you watch like a romance or a buddy film, there's always like a montage. A montage is like a whole bunch of images together or scenes together. And there's usually like music playing. You don't even need dialogue. It's that falling in love, the time period where they fell in love, where they got to know each other. That's what a montage looks like in film. So you can always like harken back to that edit point where all these scenes kind of flow together to show this is the reason that these two are right for each other. So I always have a couple of scenes of fun and games to be that montage. The midpoint is my mirror moment. There's a dark night of the soul where everything looks like it's going to go wrong. And then remember, there's the thesis, antithesis, and the synthesis. So they have to learn a lesson from all the trials that they've been through. Uh-oh, I think you have 2. Yep, you have 2. Stingy or greedy. And the last thing that I try to make sure that I have is a solution to the problem. I try not to write a book without a solution to the problem, because then things can go bad if I don't have a solution. So the way that I do this then is I have... I can easily pick these up and move them around to this next page. So I don't have to worry about trying to cram all this information in. Then I come over and I do the same thing with my hero. So I have green washi tape for my hero. Come here, you can do it. Come on, washi tape. Here we go. His name is Ilya. But I'm not going to put any of that stuff down right now. I'm just trying to make this book. And I get to go to the bookstore. That's what's important right now. I don't like writing with that light green, so I'm not going to. So here's the hero. And this is his brain dump. He will also have a knot or a wound. Sometimes we call it a lie. I don't think I wrote the lie on the last one. He will also have a need and a want. he will also have a handicap. Handicap. There's a benefit to that handicap. I'm going to show him a happy alternative. He's going to see a new benefit, but it's going to come at a cost. I just like to highlight things to make them stand out. Okay. Then he has a trope as well. This is insta love. Well, it's insta love, it's also alpha male. And I gotta look at my trope list and see what else I could pull. I think tropes just make it easier to write because they come with conventions already built in. And then if you just flip them on the head, because readers think they know everything. Some of them do because they consume a lot of media. But if you flip it on their head, they're like, oh, you tricky. I didn't expect that. And then they think you're brilliant, even though you just took something that was already there and just flipped it on its head. So you'll have a character arc. You will have an initial condition, a mirror moment where you see your life as you truly want it to be, which is going to be with this woman. And then you will transform. Quick little highlight. Okay, and then you will also have a story question. And I will make your scene list right now. We'll establish empathy for you to make people like you, even though you are bonkers crazy. This hero he loves Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this is like a lot of 80s references. So there's like a lot of Pumping Iron references, a lot of Terminator references, but he's only seen Terminator 1. He doesn't know that Terminator 2 exists because they're kind of trapped in the 80s in this place. Which is a lot of fun to write. So plan, he's gonna have some obstacles. And no way. Adhesion. Fun and games for him. And I like writing it from planning it from the different perspectives, because sometimes the hero might have better fun and games from his perspective. Or sometimes it just gives me more scenes if I do it from his perspective once and then her perspective the next time. He will have his dark night of the soul. He's going to learn a lesson, and I need to know what the solution will be. I don't spend a lot of time filling this out because I have learned, as I have studied myself as much as I've studied my craft, that I really learn who these characters are as I put them down on the page. So even though I make this is really a lot for my crafty soul. But if I don't fill all of this out, I don't worry about it too much. So this is what I've got. This is the plot booklet for the Dragon's Rebellious Sacrifice, and a quick flip through of the heroine, her brain dump, and start figuring her out, what her trope is going to be in her character arc, and then the scene list, and I can just lift these up and put them over here wherever they need to go. Same thing with the hero, do his brain dump, and the same thing with his scenes. This is why it's good to flip through it. With his scenes, an extra page, and then bam, I'm done. So that's how I do a nice little plot booklet that I can carry around with me. I'm going to carry it around with me today as I go and sit in a bookstore and just inhale the words. I hope you found this helpful. If you make a plot booklet, I would love to see it. Other than that, once I'm finished with this plot booklet, I'm going to be ready to start plotting this book and all of the scenes and all of the chapters in Scrivener, and I'll take you along with me as I do that. Thanks for hanging out with me and stopping by. If you like these videos, make sure to hit the button and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I put up a new video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!